Hey Alchemist, and welcome to our Rainbow series. Our theme is Defy Gravity. Now we defy gravity by first of all excavating our inner landscape, what we might call our energetic system. Then we look for the things that weigh us down. These are the things that need healing, and these things that need healing are generally hidden in our shadow. Now, as we excavate our inner landscape, we start to develop an awareness about where we are living our life through our wounds rather than our light, which means that we can start taking responsibility. We can step into our inner authority and we become empowered. This is how we defy gravity. We call forth the light, the grace, and the quality of spirit that we need in that moment to do whatever it is that comes next. So, in living life, we see the world as a mystic, which means we see God as the everywhere present force that it is in everything, meaning a solution can come from a surprising source, right? We also act in the world as an alchemist. We stand in our authority and we decide that no matter what's happened to us, if it was yesterday or if it was a year ago or if it was 10 years ago, we still get to decide how we're going to show up right now. And this is how we transmute the weight of our suffering, that metaphorical lead that weighs us down, into gold, into the light. That is how we defy gravity. So today I'll be going into the shadow and the grace of the throat chakra, which is represented by the color light blue. Now our throat chakra is mission control of our energetic system. It's the center of communication and choice. We create our experiences through our choices all day long. We're making choices. We're either choosing from our personal will, which means like making choices out of habit. We're on autopilot. We choose what's easy. We choose what's familiar or comfortable. Or we are choosing from divine will, which is our highest potential. Meaning we're willing to do something new that's out of our comfort zone, that may be unfamiliar. It may even feel a little scary. Now, through our choices is how we demonstrate our level of consciousness. Carolyn Myss says this: to take command of your will and maintain it against the controlling influence of other people, of outside fears, of all the illusions that prey on us, is the meaning of becoming conscious. So it's through this chakra, our throat chakra, that we take conscious control of our choices. Now, with the first four chakras, our choices are often unconscious. If we're in our shadow, that will look like, I'm not enough, there's not enough, life is unfair, and life is just so hard, I just can't do it. From our throat chakra, though, we know the difference. Here, we know what we should be doing, and we choose. We make a choice. Now, the shadow of the throat chakra is the shadow of gluttony, which you could also call instant gratification. Here, we may say one thing and do another, right? So we're not in integrity. And we'll find ourselves making choices that fail to honor the divine, even when we know better. This is also the shadow of self-abuse because we know what we are choosing. In this shadow, we see that we cannot get to our greatness because we are choosing against it. We might say something like, well, I really want to experience healing, but I don't feel like eating healthy. I just want something fun and snacky today. I need some comfort food. Right? But I don't want to do the exercise, but I don't want to watch my thoughts, right? I don't want to give up complaining. All right. So maybe I really want to write that book, but I don't feel like doing all the writing. I just want to have written the book. I just want to have the transformation. Okay. So here in the shadow, we know where we are and we know what we want, but we may not want to do all the work that's in between. We may also say that we want spiritual enlightenment, and we'll start our day off with our affirmations, but then we'll lament the rest of the day about how unfair life is, how hard life is. Maybe we'll complain, right, and gossip. We might say, yes, God is all things, but then instead we choose to perceive the world as broken and hostile, right? Even though we know that we are creating our experiences as we go along, we decide to indulge in lack consciousness. As we say things like, well, gosh, everything is so expensive, right? Or the thing I want to do is just so hard, or it's hard to get. Maybe we'll find ourselves seeking approval, making assumptions, like seeking out that instant gratification. Now, for me, how this showed up not too long ago was I was going to take my dog for a walk, and I didn't feel like it. And I was like, but I made this promise to myself and to her when she was a wee puppy, and that because I waited a long time to get this dog, okay? And so I told myself, and I told her when I first got her, I'll take such good care of you. I'll take you for walks. We'll play. It's going to be a great life. I promise I'm going to give you a good life. And then I found myself last week thinking, I don't feel like going out for a walk. I just want to watch Netflix, right? And so I didn't take her for a walk. And then I felt bad later. I'm like, because I was not in integrity. I let her down. I let myself down. I broke a promise to myself, right? I was in my shadow. I knew what I should do, but instead I chose to do what I didn't want to do. Okay? We all make a lot of little choices throughout the day. And we may not always make choices that take us toward our greatness, right? Some of these choices may take us away. Those choices that are, well, I know I shouldn't eat the cake, but I would really like to have a piece, right? I know I shouldn't speed. I know I shouldn't cut this person off. I know, we all know, right? All these choices start adding up. They all start adding up. Okay, so the grace of this chakra is the grace of counsel, just following divine direction so that we are connecting to that mystical truth. We really connect to it. Now, the grace of counsel is not an easy grace to call forth. It seeks to express and connect truth within us, right? These things that are always true, the mystical truths, the universal truths. And I know we talk about them like we'll say all are one, as within, so without, thought precedes form, everything is vibration. Now, we know that these are mystical truths. They are true, but we don't always feel them to be true, right? Because we can't make the connection. How about the vague truth, and the truth will set you free, okay? To me, this could not be any more vague, okay? So it's the grace of counsel is grounding those mystical truths within us, okay? Now, we connect to these mystical truths as the ultimate means of personal empowerment and freedom. But we're not really connecting with them unless we have that aha moment, unless we have that epiphany. Okay? Now, we go back and forth in our day all the time about how we're going to show up. We're deciding, well, do I want to do what's easy and comfortable, or am I going to do the hard thing? Am I going to do my very best? This is the grace that gives us the capacity to experience the mystical, right? It's not something we can learn. It's something that is revealed through us. The truth will set us free because truth is transformative, but we have to be willing to hear it. Now, for me, I had that moment of empowerment when I did the complaint-free program back in 2007. And it's where you wear a little purple plastic bracelet and you try to go for 21 days without complaining. If you complain, you have to switch it to the other wrist and start over at day one. Now, when I started the complaint-free program, I thought, this is going to be so easy. I hardly ever complain. But then as I start paying attention to my thoughts, which are about to come out of my mouth, what I want to say, right? I realized I complained more than I thought I did. And so just before that, I would switch that bracelet. I would think, do I actually want to say this out loud? Do I want to make this complaint, right? This is where I had that grace of counsel came through. I had the aha moment of, wow, I do have a choice. I do have a choice, right? I do, right? We all of us, we actually do have the choice to listen to our thoughts and take different actions. But until that moment, I had never had the whoa moment. This grace invokes clarity about being in our shadow. And it commands that we heal our suffering. And so we have to go back to the heart, and then we work our way down through the chakra systems. How this looked for me not too long ago was I had ran into somebody, and this person, I had thought that I had forgiven them for it felt like they betrayed me. They just outright lied to me about something. And I was really hurt by this interaction, and I ended up running into them, and I felt it all over again. I hadn't really forgiven. I hadn't really let that go. Well, then I was talking to a friend of mine, and this friend asked how so-and-so was, and I had to think about it, right? I had to think about it because I wanted to say something mean. I wanted to say, you know what? I blame them. What they did was not fair. This was a betrayal. This really hurt me, okay? But the consciousness came in. I had awareness, and then I thought, okay, I immediately felt like I was in that feeling of wrath, right? I was in wrath, my shadow of wrath, which is in the heart chakra, when I was saying what they did was a betrayal. Okay, so I recognized this. It dropped down into my solar plexus, but now I'm not in my shadow anymore. Now what I hear is, yeah, what they did wasn't fair, but you just never know the whole story. You just really don't know what's going on with them. Obviously, people who hurt other people are acting out of their shadow, okay, if they think hurting's okay. All right, so then I dropped down to my sacral chakra. I decided, okay, all I can do here, if I really want to let this go, all I can do here is to look for the wonder that is God and just concentrate only on seeing that. Right, then I dropped down into my root chakra, and I felt the grace of reverence, which is that God is all things and all of life is sacred, and we are all on this sacred journey together. Okay, so I went down into the grace of fortitude, right, which helped me to clear that feeling out, helped me to clear that wrath. And this is why they say, there's that saying, God doesn't call the qualified, God qualifies the called, because we become qualified as we acknowledge, okay, as we acknowledge our fourth chakra grace. I have the fortitude to do this because of what it is that works through me, okay? We go to our solar plexus, and when life feels unfair or unkind, I get to choose to focus only on the wonders that are God. And then we go into our sacral, right? Life supports me. The universe has my back. And then we go into our root chakra. I am enough because I am created in the image and the likeness of my Creator. Becoming qualified allows us to put all of this into practical terms so we can live this truth, so we can defy gravity. And this is a high voltage activity that we participate in. Okay, so the grace of counsel, receiving direction, helps us to become so clear and wise as a soul that we don't lose power over situations or events or conditions in the first place. We might think, oh, wow, that stinks that guy cut me off in traffic and I had to slam my brakes on. I don't have to take it personally, right? I don't have to make assumptions about what, did he cut me off on purpose? Was he trying to ruin my day? I can choose to focus on the wonders that are God. Now, this is when we see through what the Buddha called illusion. Now, I used to have a problem with this term illusion because we're living in a world here where if you drop a brick on your foot, you will feel it. That is not an illusion. But then I really had to come to terms with what illusion means. And I got this from reading so much Carolyn Mace. Like just read her. But this is the illusion. I am not enough. There's not enough. Life is unfair. and this is too hard for me. And I think somebody should pay for all the pain that I'm experiencing in my heart. That's the illusion. The truth is, we are here to do greater things. The power that creates worlds is at work in each and every one of us all the time. The power that creates worlds is working through you right now. So here is our call to action for this week. We'll start with our affirmation. Okay, well, I'm going to say it, then let's say it together. I choose greater things. I choose greater things. Right? We're on playground Earth. Like, I don't call this a school anymore. I call this a playground now, right? And what we're doing is we're playing to the next level. And we get qualified as we go along, right? So the more that we remember who we really are, right, the higher up we can level. All we have to do is just be willing to surrender our personal will to divine will and make the choices that honor ourselves and honor others. So here's our invitation for this week. We are going to have so many opportunities to notice. How do I want to choose right now? I know what I should do, but I know what I want to do. And if I do what I want to do, I'm probably not going to like myself very well at the end of the day, right? Okay, so am I going to speak my truth, or am I going to compromise? Am I going to instead seek out approval because it's so uncomfortable to not be liked and I don't want people to not like me, right? Right? What am I going to choose? Am I going to decide to go ahead and set a boundary, right? Or am I going to let somebody walk all over me? Right? We decide that, right? We know what we're about to choose. All right, am I going to eat that piece of cake or not? And then we can ask ourselves, well, what's the cosmic truth that I actually want to live right now? What is the cosmic truth? That all things are possible with God? That the universe has my back? That I create my experience through my way of thinking and acting, which are making choices, right? We are creating this world as we go along through our choices. And it's through our choices that we are up-leveling ourselves in this game of life. And this is how we are creating heaven on earth. So until next time, remember, you are divinely designed to be doing all of this stuff. You are a one-time, one-of-a-kind cosmic event. And everything you do, you are blessed, and so it is.